Okay, hello everyone. We are here at the beautiful neighborhood news hour room. You may see the sign behind me that says, Hunter, who's the big guy? That's the question for tonight. But the question for today is going to be, Hunter, who's who's Bevan? Who's Bevan? Hunter, why are you trading email with Bevan Cooney, this guy who seems to be acquiring land in the oil business and oil and gas business and the fracking business here in Northwest Ohio? We've been out to the mosque where there was some land acquired. We've been at Rossford where seemed to be some land acquired. Yes, there's Kathy Sue saying we have over 3,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. We want to keep going to 100,000 and then on. We just did a show with Addy Ads, the great Addy Ads, right here.
Yes, sir.
On brand YouTube. Why don't you talk about that before we get this show started?
Yeah, it's actually broadcasting right now on the monitor behind me. I did a live stream for the first time on brand YouTube. It was the inaugural / debut episode of the Epstein Files. We talked about the recently released Maxwell documents that just came out a few hours ago. Additionally, we talked about Biden Island, a couple other islands, and other things Epstein related. And we will be doing that again tomorrow around the same time. And we'll try to remember to do a video update or like a notification so people know to go to brand YouTube to join. They do have a live chat feature and a super chat feature over there on brand YouTube, which is nice because I got demonetized. But if people want to watch that episode, I am uploading it to my channel. Otherwise, you can head over to my brand YouTube channel at brandyoutube.com /@AddyAds, ADDYADDS. So great show, about an hour, and it was myself and George and Dave joined. And yeah, it's a great show, George. But now we're focusing on Hunter.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that these channels we're all working with each other. Thank you, the mobster. We're all working with each other just in case anybody decides to get in the way of free speech. The sign you see behind us caused all kinds of consternation. We put it out just last night to do a show. We were going to bring it back in this morning. Before we'd even brought the sign back in, we'd already had people trying to run me over in the parking lot last night, and we had, or at least a very threatening, felonious pointing of the vehicle at a very odd angle at me. Then the maintenance person visits us and says, "Get the sign out." So it's just asking questions like, "Who is Hunter Biden?" seems to be a very dangerous activity in Gretchen Whitmer's Michigan. We don't know if we're not saying the governor's behind the attack or not. We don't know that. But we are saying that these things did occur, and these are the facts. So we've got a new member, it looks like already. Holy moly. Let's go back to Marty Farrell. Hey, Marty, from Texas, I believe. Thanks for joining. And I'll get some of your comments up here. I'll be doing a play-by-play description tonight. I'm not sure. And I can't, unfortunately, put all the comments up. I can only do the folks who become members. Remember, it's only $3 a month. You get all the books. You get all the annotations to the books since the books have been published. So I'll be putting those out. But I am here with the great Dave Underdown. And Dave is just a wealth of information. He's like the human database. And I love it because you even have a better memory than me, which is awesome. It's kind of like having who's the guy on Star Trek, the Data guy?
I never watched Star Trek.
You never watched Star Trek?
No, I was
Spock.
Well, it was Spock in my day, but then there was it was LeVar Burton was the guy. There's Jack Redmond. Thank you very much. George is the A10 Warthog. Okay, thank you very much.
I know Spock, and I knew who was the Irish guy that was always trying to get the everything running again.
Oh, Scotty.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
The lithium crystals, Captain. It's breaking up. So yeah, we're going to leave that question up there because it bothers people so much. Hunter, who's the big guy? Wow, explosive Antifa type outburst here in a little small town in Michigan. We don't, again, not trying to implicate Gretchen Whitmer, but we have Gretchen Whitmer now, as we predicted. We said that they would hit the swing states. And Dave, give us the update on coronavirus really quickly here in Michigan.
Well, the front page of the Free Press today, which is the Detroit Free Press, is talking about how there's the uptick in coronavirus right now. And of course, like personally, I've got my nephew was sent home today from school. His teacher was tested positive. So my sister sent me different information about that. So it is, obviously people are, I mean, there's a lot of talk about everyone, looking at the death rates and the infection rates, and that it's not that lethal of a problem. But of course, for me, I'm still just nervous about everything because I feel like I don't have an understanding of it. Also, when you get a report like that, it obviously is
Close to home.
Very close to home, very very concerning. So everyone is. There's just a lot
We're
of
watching it.
There's just a lot of tension in the air right now. Is
Yeah.
all I can say. I mean, whether it's that or whether it's people that are, concerned that we're looking at these, characters like Devin Archer and what's his name?
Bevan.
These
Is that the
convicted
big guy?
these convicted criminals of defrauding the various Native American tribes. I mean, I feel like they shouldn't be that controversial to be getting into, but apparently, nobody wants to know who Hunter was, doing these deals with.
Yeah, and if let's say that Bevan Cooney, this is what is dropping now. So it amazes me how as soon as we drill down on Bevan Cooney, who Bevan Cooney really is, and look at these real estate deals here in Northern Ohio. We went to Bowling Green before anybody even knew it was Bevan Cooney. We had done 2 shows in Bowling Green. You can check that. You can go back and look at the videos. We were there before this drop. All of a sudden now we get Ghislaine Maxwell again as the ultimate distraction. And, but here's Addy Ads immediately ready to go with a great show today on
Indeed.
Brand New Tube. As soon as they do that, it's kind of like if you sucker punch Gretzky, you're going to get McSorley. You're going to get the Addy Ads choke out from the what is that? The jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah, well maybe a little triangle choke, or we get a rear naked choke going. Sure.
Yeah. So as soon as you go for Gretzky, you're going to get McSorley. So there you go. Plus, if YouTube wants to put an African news network out of business and take us off the air, boom, we go straight to Brand New Tube. So we've got that area covered as well. So let's talk about Bevan Cooney. Again, you will not find this information on any other network. When we go for the news, we do total immersive news. Like I said, we brought a team of 10 here, all volunteer journalists, all looking into who is Bevan Cooney. Well, the first person that we identified was this person. This is Rachel Cooney, and she also lived in Bowling Green. I'm not going to say what her address was on Bold Paradise Road because I don't want to attract Antifa or anybody targeting her. But it was on Bold Paradise Road. And now, why is she there? Her father, I'll show you her father. And you can see these addresses. I'll just get nods from these guys that there are addresses and phone numbers here that I have for her. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Gmail and so forth. I don't want to publicize those, but these guys are looking at these things as I'm talking right now. We got another new member. Welcome 42 Shoes. We're going to cover the European patent with Rothschild on coronavirus in a second. Don't worry. We're going to cover that. We have the documents. But here's Rachel Cooney. We're going to show you Bevan Cooney as well. But we're trying to reach out to her to see her because Bevan is in prison. We want to reach out to Rachel to get a hold of her. You can see she's ran Sotheby's real estate in New Zealand. You see she works at a place called the Tahi Bar and Kitchen in Auckland. You see she's with the former Fine Arts. She was running several 503c NGOs in Minnesota. She also is running in Minnesota in New York Cares. She also is a volunteer for the Achilles Foundation, and she's also from Peter Strzok's Minneapolis. So we love her to death. Just to confirm now, just nods that there is her Bowling Green address there on Hull Prairie Road. Get another nod here on Hull Prairie Road. Okay, yep, there it is. Okay, so there she is. We're also going to get nods on other property that was acquired. This is Rossford. This is about halfway between the terminal depot and the pipeline to Bowling Green. And this is just a Rossford address associated with her. Mm-hmm. Okay, a Rossford address associated with her.
Yep.
Okay, yep. A Rossford address. Okay. So and now here's going to be the family. Any of the family wants to reach forward. We think we're on your side. We think Bevan has been railroaded. And we're going to get into, I believe, I don't know if this gentleman in the C hat is the father or not, but go ahead and take a good look at him. And again, we want to reach out to the father in New Zealand of Bevan because we believe your son has been patsied by the DNC. But this, I believe, is Ralph Cooney. See Ralph Cooney there? I don't know if that looks, you tell me now if you think that looks like him in this previous picture with just glasses and a hat. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Go back to the other one, George.
Go back to the other one. We'll go back to the other one. Similar beard. Whoops.
Somewhat similar, yeah.
Somewhat similar beard. Dave, I'll let you run the
Pics.
Yeah. Bevan Cooney.
So there he is.
Zoom in on that. Okay, we'll flip now to the other one.
I think they're different. They look different to me.
Maybe different.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is get to Ralph because we think they might have taken advantage of Ralph here in the sense that you can see he's a British council in Southampton there. You can see that he is a former professor at PVC Tamaki. So can we look up PVC Tamaki, T-M-A-K-I? And he is a former sabbatical at the University College of London. He's also Newcastle, Australia, where I used to work in the mineral industry, and the University of Melbourne, which I was associated with when I was doing some stuff down there. So he's a former fellow at the University of Minnesota, Peter Strzok's Minnesota. Again, we don't know if he's associated with the Strzok sort of mercenary, let's bring in the experts to see what kind of mineral deposits there are, oil and gas deposits. We don't know any of that. All we're saying is he does have this background, and this is Bevan Cooney's father, and this is Bevan Cooney's sister. Okay. So again, here is the Minnesota Freedom Fund. I'm not saying this is Antifa. I'm not saying it's associated with Larry Ellison, the only Muslim member of Congress before Imran Awan's member. Well, Imran Awan supported both Larry Ellison and Andre Carson. Not saying this is Antifa associated, but it is the Minnesota Freedom Fund. If that doesn't sound like somebody's going to break your window, I don't know what. But here's Bevan Cooney. Now, again, this is information, the University of Arizona, down where Danny Rothschild is. I'm not saying he knows Danny Rothschild, but here's Bevan Cooney at Clover Hill Capital. Again, this is a name that is in the emails. Here's Steve Bannon running all around Washington, D.C. right now saying, Bevan Cooney, he's the key to the case. Here's Rudy Giuliani running all around saying, Bevan Cooney, key to the case, key to the case. Are they telling you the key background information of these people? Are they telling you they're acquiring property? Are they telling you they're coming from a mineral deposits and oil and gas deposits background? Are they telling you they're from New Zealand, which gives Five Eyes immunity to these folks when they're in the United States? Are they telling you any of that? No, they're just saying he's in jail. They're just saying Bevan's in jail. I think Bevan got shafted, got the railroad. If you don't know Evan, here he is. This is a Getty Images image, so we're giving full credit to Getty there. And he does look like he's with an Oconus lure, does he not? Dave, I'm going to let you make the call on the Oconus lure there.
She looks like she could definitely be on the suspect list.
On the Oconus lure checklist there. Mm-hmm. And there they are, on December 8th. Again, she's all over the place. So is Bevan. Here he is at Park Avenue Tavern on December 8th, 2010, right about the time the China mineral and gas experts come to the United States and for their visit to the White House. Again, in the emails, China Nuclear Group, very strongly associated with the China petroleum industry. You can use these small modular reactors to find oil and gas and to frack. Is that what they're doing here? We made a trip to Fostoria to a plant that had been bought out mysteriously, the Autolite spark plug plant. We don't know if that's the end of the pipeline. We're just saying they're acquiring. Go ahead and read that. Show us the article and then read it.
So this is from the Buffalo Chronicle. This is from 2 days ago, the 20th.
A little higher. Over there you go. Okay, what's
so it's saying that a source familiar with the FBI investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealing tells the Chronicle that Bevan Cooney, his former business partner, is cooperating with investigators and has already provided 2 separate field officers with access to more than 26,000 emails.
Okay, that's the 26,000 email story. And again, people, Steve Bannon wants to tell you it's about sex trafficking. He wants to put pictures out about Devin with pictures of girls. But there he is. There's Bevan with his Oconus Lure girlfriend. And there he is. Okay. So we're the one who's actually showing you the picture, showing you where he is, showing you the relationships. And we're not trying to toot our own horn here. We're just talking about the remarkable lack of journalism on Steve Bannon's part. Remember, he's the guy who stabs Donald Trump so quickly in the back. And should you be trusting that guy as he's eyedroppering you 1 or 2 emails a day, or should you trust the metadata? Okay. So here's the Trump sign. Hey, guess what? The Trump Hollywood sign made another appearance in Hollywood. Who knows if it was the merry pranksters? Oops, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think here, you hold that. We'll keep you this. You can show it to Addy if you want.
Yeah, so I was just looking into, well, we had this, I can't remember his name. He's from New England, comedy guy. He talks geopolitics and stuff. But he was saying that one of these guys, they're both in custody, and one's been sentenced, one's awaiting sentencing, and the other, one of them actually just got moved for.
Are you talking about Bevan?
I think it was Bevan.
Okay, the other one is Devin
Archer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. You're talking about Rosemont Seneca then.
Yeah, I was just saying that one of them got moved.
Bevan just got moved 2 days ago.
It was Bevan, yeah, for protection, in terms of like protected custody, because they fear he is a vulnerable prisoner. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I had him being close to Peter Strzok in Sault Ste. Marie at a prison near Sault Ste. Marie, straight north of Traverse City, and I'm trying to remember the name of the
by Sault Ste. Marie. Because you're up in the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, but it wasn't all the way to Sault Ste. Marie, but it was around the Horn a little bit. If you show me a map of the Upper Peninsula, he's supposedly in federal prison. If somebody knows exactly what federal prison he's in now, or Bevan Cooney moved. That's Cooney. Again, we're just trying to give you as much information out there so that you can solve this and find out what really happened with these emails. What was Hunter Biden involved in? For instance, again, there's a lot of channels that do nothing but spend all day trying to go at the credibility of the 40-year Biden guy who met me after I had found the Blackberries. Was he trying to find out how much I knew, or was he a whistleblower, or was he trying to entrap me? I still don't know the answer to that question, but he said he was a 40-year guy. There's the picture of Devin.
That's Hunter Biden.
Yeah, that's Hunter
and the girl.
Yeah.
That's the news that you're getting. That's the news right there that you're getting from Steve Bannon. That's the news you're getting from Steve Bannon right there. Look at that. He's got his head cocked at a wacky angle, and he's got a thing. Who does this? So there's Upper Michigan.
Here we are in Northern Michigan.
Okay, let's go over. Here, you got to move it. Okay, now zoom in near straight north of Traverse City, and I'll tell you, I have the address, but it's on this phone.
Okay, so Traverse City is
no, I know it's south, but
yeah.
Go north here. Let me get it for you here. Maybe I was thinking Traverse Bay, Little Traverse Bay.
Oh, okay.
Bayshore. It's near Bayshore. There's a federal prison near Bayshore.
Well, Harbor Springs is.
You know what? I think you're right. I think it is Harbor Springs.
Okay. Well, so people that don't know Northern Michigan, Harbor Springs is one of the most beautiful, communities you could ever go to.
Is there a federal prison there?
I've never heard of it. I've heard of it much more being like, fancy boat clubs and country clubs. And it's a very,
then right across from Harbor Springs.
So Petoskey is the big city that's right there. And then there's also, a lot of stuff that goes on.
I want to say Bayshore. Who
like
has
Lake,
company? Federal.
Lake
federal
Charlevoix, Walloon Lake. Those are all really popular places.
That's where was that where the big meeting was when they did the Manhattan Project?
No, that's a little bit farther over at Otsego Lake. So that's like right at Gaylord, right off.
We had everybody there at that one. That meeting was great. It had all the Los Alamos guys. It had Compton brothers.
Oppenheimer left in a big huff. There was a big mystery why he got out of town.
But that goes all the way back to did Max Fisher
Manhattan,
actually?
Yeah, that's Manhattan's project stuff.
Did he run the Manhattan
project?
Oh,
also for people too that are following the Jeff Epstein, the Interlochen, which is the music and art school for University of Michigan. They have a big Michigania camp up there that I believe Epstein had a at least
Oconus Lure.
Yeah, he had a cabin,
development.
He had a cabin up there or something. They
But
said
he
he
had
only
school.
went to.
Got a big compound.
Well, it is a music school, so it is a place where you would get top musicians and artists from all over the world really go there. And like I said, Northern Michigan is absolutely beautiful in the summer. So,
but if your Oconus Lure didn't have enough Oconusness, could you then say, well, maybe they're musically inclined and still use them as
all kinds of skills that you need?
Because touring music groups like touring violinists and so forth would be every bit as valuable as far as getting access inside countries behind the iron.
Then wasn't there some ballet or something, or like some music troupe that it has like sort of a mysterious?
The guy who ran Los Alamos, the guy who was going in and out of Los Alamos, the Russian guy who was going in and out of Los Alamos, had a ballet company, the Moscow Ballet. Okay, so that takes us to Butarina. We told you Butarina was going to be important. Butarina is the mayor of Moscow. New email out today showing, like we did, how long ago did we do the Butarina show? I can't even remember. It was about a month ago. But the $3.5 million, we said it was going to be important. We said the $3.5 million from Butarina. There is me pointing out Kazakhstan right there on the map. We said the $3.5 million for Butarina was going to be important from Russia. There I am pointing it out. And the story is that she was the brother of, I believe, the guy who ran the Moscow Mafia. Guy who ran the Moscow Mafia was connected directly to the Wagner Group for putting mercenaries on the ground. If you don't remember Moscow Mafia, they were the ones who were hired by Kolomoisky to come down in the Maidan. These are sharpshooters and snipers. These are the Paul Whelan type people that he would recruit in Moscow to shoot people in the Maidan, to do election disruption in Ukraine. So, again, his name is Teshenko. That's awfully close to Leshenko. Did we just move the capital on the T and move it down to the bottom and create the Nabu crime unit? Is this really an old crime unit in Ukraine and Russia that's just been separated by an artificial line with this Teshenko-Leshenko connection? We don't know that, but Dave has more on that.
Well, just there's a WikiLeaks cable that was from talking about Butarina. This is from 2010. Obviously her husband was the mayor of Moscow, so he has a lot of Teshenko. But they also were talking about her brother was let me scroll down.
But Sistema. I mean, if you know Sistema is the mafia in Moscow.
Right.
This Teshenko ran Sistema. So, Hunter Biden, you're getting $3.5 million through a kickback. I think it's Leshenko, Teshenko, but we'll see if that's true or not. But you're getting a kickback of $3.5 million. Hunter Biden, who's the big guy? Who's the big guy? Is Kolomoisky the big guy? A lot of people last night, before we caused the furor and almost got run down in the parking lot we don't know if they're Antifa or not, but this obviously strikes a chord. If the first thing I think Trump should do is say, Hunter, who's the big guy? Just ask Joe Biden and then ask him to forward on the question, because it seems like there's this $3.5 million coming from the big guy. When somebody in a crime organization is talking about the big guy, that's where the money comes from, right? So here's $3.5 million coming from Butarina. Teshenko, her brother, runs the crime family, Sistema, right? And we need to look up that other.
Yeah, I just want to read.
Susan Newman.
I want to just read a line out of this article. It says, according to
read the whole thing. Go ahead.
It's long. So according to the internet article on the Moscow Group, Vladimir Yevchenko, the head of the company Sistema, is married to Natalia Yevtushenko, Butarina's sister. Sistema was created with Moscow City government-owned shares, and Sistema initially focused on privatizing the capital's real estate and gas. Sounds a lot like Ukraine. I believe they did the same kind of.
This is exactly
idea.
What Deep Blackberry told me, was that they used the Blackberries going all the way to give to these officials to do things like Lucas oil, and here come the sirens. Maybe for the person who tried to run me down last night, maybe not. But keep going.
So I was going to say too, also with Harry the Greek, we're checking out the real estate holdings in downtown Cleveland also. So you sort of see these same themes of controlling the the energy, but also controlling key real estate. It seems like it's on repeat.
We need an Ohio map really bad. Aaron, if you're out there listening, we need an Ohio map because Dave hits the money, hits out of the park here because you went with me and Harry the Greek. You've been watching Harry the Greek, how all of downtown Cleveland seems to be owned by Kolomoisky, right? You could launder money here if you were using the Chinese to do fracking here. You could launder the money in state, and you would only have to have compromised one guy. That's the governor. That's DeWine. It seems like the same thing is happening over here in. It seems like the same thing's happening over here in Michigan. It seems like they can just yo-yo. Kolomoisky can yo-yo Gretchen Whitmer like she's on a yo-yo. Go ahead and read a little bit more. This is from WikiLeaks.
Yeah, this is a WikiLeaks cable from I believe it was 2010. But Sistema's president Yevgeny Novitsky controlled the Solntsevo criminal gang. Today, Sistema has spun off into various companies which implement projects that typically include 50% funding from the Moscow city government. 50%
funding, and the reason why it's 50% funding is so that NATO generals can own the other 50%. In order to have what they call an international joint venture, you need to have 50% local ownership. And the people who have the big bank accounts, if you want to look at Russian crime joint ventures, were the cities. Putin was the mayor of the city of St. Petersburg, and he worked through the crime gang and the St. Petersburg crime gang to do a whole bunch of oil joint ventures with Bill Browder. Guess what? This guy, Tashenko, did a whole bunch of joint ventures. Magnitsky was the accountant for it all, right? And these are illegal crime joint ventures. Russia was sold by the pound. Bill Browder came in and issued a whole bunch of shares, thousands and thousands, millions of shares for state-owned industries, especially in gas and oil and the metal industries. They starved the people. All of a sudden, the people would trade these shares for pennies on the dollar, and these crime figures, along with their banker backers like Kolomoisky, were able to get these industries for pennies on the dollar. This is the Bill Browder Magnitsky story. This is what Magnitsky was trying to tell us. They killed Magnitsky, this crime unit, either Sistema or the crime unit from Putin, tortured and killed Magnitsky. And what do they always do? They always name a bill after you and push it through Congress so that they even can get any more money. This is the Magnitsky Act. This is what could not be explained, right, by what our good friend, when Andy McCabe was trying to put our good friend from the Magnitsky Act,
Bill Browder.
Bill Browder brought her over. Veselnitskaya. This is why they bring all the crime figures. She's the lawyer for getting all these crime figures out of jail. What do? They try to stuff her into Trump Tower on June 9th and make her try to get Trump to influence the Magnitsky Act. Why does she know so much about the Magnitsky Act? She's used it to steal properties from these different people in these different joint ventures. Right. I know it's complicated. We'll whiteboard it, but the key is take all of our criminals that normally would be in a lineup and then figure out a way to get them off by using them as informants and attack Donald Trump. That's going to be the story. Okay, so Addy, go ahead. You've got something I can tell.
Yeah, I wanted to add just something about Valerie Biden, and I wanted to ask you guys too, if you guys could add to Biden crime family knowledge. But she had this company, Joe Slade White and Company is a firm, and the employees consisted of Joe Slade White and Valerie Biden, and they funneled $2.5 million. Yeah, this is in 2008 alone in consulting fees from that particular firm to Citizens for Biden and Biden for President Incorporated. And of course, this is back when Obama was running for president. So I was just wanted to, I guess, dovetail that into asking about Joe Biden's family at large, because we did start off the conversation today talking about Hunter Biden and the laptop, coming back from the Delaware repair shop. Shout out to that repairman for turning the laptop in, which apparently now is in the possession of the FBI. Another question I wanted to ask too was just the FBI taking over the investigation. Is this in any way going to be different than,
Slap and seal. Yeah.
Slap and seal with like our Epstein show we did earlier. It just really ties into a lot of it here. I mean, I don't trust the FBI. What do you guys think? FBI and then Biden's family at large.
So start back on your first question.
Okay,
Repeat
so
your
let's
first
go
question.
back to Hunter Biden's family, Joe Biden's family.
You asked Valerie Biden.
Yeah, so I just mentioned about Valerie Biden kind of siphoning these millions back in 2008 through her firm, which is just a company called Joe Slade White and Company, Slade SLADE, and the employees again were just Joe Slade White and Valerie Biden. So they used this company to funnel money to Joe's campaign. So if we could tie that into what we're talking about here, I also want to just ask in general about what you guys know about the greater Biden family.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just give some recognition to our super sticker person yesterday, Dave B. the Third. Looks like he's just jumping out of a helicopter there in Iraq there. So thanks to our veterans there, as always. And remember, $3 buys you the membership. It's the best game in town, and then that gets your comments and visibility up. And so you asked a question about Joe Biden using all of his kids and relatives, basically. I have a lot of sympathy for Joe Biden losing his wife, losing his son. That's horrible. And that I can't even imagine that happening. God forbid for any of us, for Gretchen Whitmer or anyone. I want everyone to live a long, happy, healthy life. But you do use kids. When you're in the crime business, you do use your kids. You got 5 of them, I think, in the Biden thing. Peter Schweitzer's done a good job about talking about them, and you do come up with these shell corporations. And when you pass stuff through the shell corporation and then into your DNC, Friends of Joe Biden or whatever your DNC cutout is, that then makes its way to you for your vacation homes or whatever, it does add a layer of opacity to where it's really coming from. Where it really looks like it's coming from is just what this guy said. There he is, right there. There's the evidence, right? We're putting the evidence up here. There's the guy who configured it. There's the guys with the BlackBerries. It's coming from energy deals. Okay. The guy who was telling me it was coming from energy deals leaves his BlackBerry with me, with the Senate markings, an active BlackBerry. So there's more credibility there than what you're getting from. There they are. There's the guy who actually configured the BlackBerry, right? So there's more credibility there than someone who's just saying, hey, I worked for Joe Biden for 40 years. He also knows how Imran Awan got into the House of Representatives. Maybe Joe Biden was compromised by the Awans. Maybe they used an Oconus lure on Joe Biden. And that's why this person was coming forward, because they wanted to say how they were compromised. We don't know the answer. But what I am saying is, in these crime families, you do use your kids. You do use the wife. You do use the brothers. You do use the children. And that's what it appears like Joe Biden did. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at Browder, though. Browder's the reason why the accountant's good is because how did they catch Al Capone? The accountant. The accountant has all the things. How else do you catch people in the modern day world? When the money's electronic, you catch the systems administrator like Imran Awan. Dave, what do you have to say?
Well, I was just thinking about the banking relationships we were talking about, and just getting back to this WikiLeaks article. It seemed like there was a kind of a similar process here. It's talking about this. It says, in contrast to Kanev, who was one of the. I mean, go back.
Spell anything that's tough.
Kanev. It says Abdulev said he did not see the sense in suitcases of money going into the Kremlin, since it would be easier to open a secret account in Cyprus, which seems like the same play that Kolomoisky was running with his private bank going through Cyprus. So again, you have those links, and again, also thinking about with the FBI agents, if it's Peter Strzok or Andy McCabe in charge of him. It wasn't Andy McCabe and Oleg Deripaska. I feel like they were pretty closely linked. And you have the FBI Bob Mueller, running this operation to get Bob Levinson, out of Iran, and he, using Oleg Deripaska as the bag man with the 20 million to get him out. It just seems like it's all the same characters over and over again. So when they offer them as these, leading these investigations and stuff, you got to be a little bit skeptical because you don't really know their history.
Can I say something about Andy McCabe? I just want to say, regardless of what you may think about him, for someone to go on an interview and TV and to talk ill of their boss is extremely unprofessional, right? Not only did this guy do this, but this guy also is the head, or was the head, of the spies. So he goes on national TV and talks crap about Trump, who was his boss, and you would think that would go against protocol as far as national security and talking about FBI chain of command and really just a good work ethic. Even if you don't get along with your boss, it's not a good, practice to just go out on the town talking crap about them. But when you have this coalition that's going against, Trump, you can do that. You get that mainstream media sponsorship where you can just go and talk bad about not only your boss and your leader, but the leader of the country. And in the realm of national security too, no one can tell me that's not suspicious or, I would say, just like unethical in the sense of having a good work ethic.
Great. I totally agree. If we could run down, getting back to Bevan Cooney and Bevan Cooney's dad, that PVC, anytime I see PVC, polyvinyl chloride is one, but Tamaki PVC to me sounds like a Japanese company. And so is it Japanese exploration? Is it, what is it?
So you're talking about Ralph Cooney now,
Ralph
right?
Cooney.
Yeah, there's not much information.
Again, things typically go through the sons, and Bevan Cooney, maybe there's more to the story. Now, we know that it's the Sioux Indian Nation, correct? The Sioux Indian Nation, where Devin Archer, his partner.
Yeah,
Prince.
I always remembered it as the Sioux, but I did read there was another tribe that they also defrauded too.
But they call it Seneca, Rosemont Seneca, because it's the Seneca Indians in New York,
and that was named after somebody's mother was from that Finger Lakes region originally. That was where they came up with the Rosemont Seneca. It was named after one of the founders.
But typically they use these. Jack Abramoff used to use these Indian reservations to run drugs and run weapons. So are we saying, if you think around the time frame here, 2010, here's our guy. Here's our guy, Bevan Cooney. Again, remember that Biden people, the deep BlackBerry guy is telling me, we were a part of the energy deals. We weren't a part of the covert actions. That's the Hillary folks. Okay, we want to wall this off. You've discovered, hey, George, you've discovered with Taggart, you've discovered the BlackBerries, you've discovered the hard drives. But now here comes Deep BlackBerry saying, we're not a part of that. We do energy deals. There's some crooked drilling going on here with Seth Rich and Warren Buffett, and maybe some drugs. That's not us either. We did upfront energy deals. There was the one I think of most particularly was the Yukos for some oil deal. And that was Kordakovsky that did that deal. But there was Lukos Oil. There was several oil companies that were part of this Browder scheming. The key guy, though, that was in both the energy deals and the weapons deals was Jonathan Weiner, who worked directly for Kerry, and he worked directly for Biden. And he also had State Department. He also had the BlackBerries, and he also was a part of Genie Energy. He was a part of APCO, the company that consulted for Uranium One. He's at the middle of all this. He was also the special envoy to Libya. He's a special envoy with Bill Taylor to Syria. All these places where there was covert action. So go ahead.
So, what do you think his role was like? Doing like legal work for all those groups, or what was his?
I think he was the key go-between for the communications. I mean, he's the guy who's passing out all the encrypted BlackBerries. Remember, Huma Abedin has a bag of 50 of these Teneo BlackBerries. You're not going to call it State Department BlackBerries in order to defraud the people of the United States. You're going to call it Teneo, right? And everyone knows, insiders know, hey, there we go. I mean, there's Taggart, where I found the BlackBerries. There's the BlackBerry that Deep BlackBerry left me. We know Operation Cassandra was a drugs for weapons deal with Imran Awan, with a known Hezbollah operative. I mean, how much more do you need than that one panel? And there it is. There's the BlackBerry, and there it is, functioning the next day at 11:36 a.m. So this isn't something that's speculation. There's the proof right in front of you. So again, do you follow Bannon? Eyedropping one little piece of information at a time, or do you really want to do the deep dive on what Bannon is saying? Bevan Cooney looks like somebody who may have been, there he is, there's Bill Taylor, father is the expert, right, in portable nuclear power plants. And there's all of his associates. Look at the whole gang around him. There's Vidman, there's Holmes, there's Fiona Hill. Somebody had to give everybody a State Department BlackBerry to keep these things covert. That's going to be Jonathan Weiner. That's going to be Jonathan Weiner. We know that. It's going to be Jonathan Weiner. Okay, we got a lot of new members here. This is really great. And I'll try to get your, wonder how Buttigieg plays into all this. He's back in the chatter last 2 weeks or so. Well, I'll let Dave start on the Eclipse planes and I'll Tepkin and Turkey here and NATO. Here we go.
I can't remember the exact unit he was in, but he was in one of the Centers for Excellence. I believe was it in Isfahan where he was based, or was he more out of Somalia and out of Africa?
Somalia for sure. Mm-hmm. And he was a part of EUCOM, and EUCOM was the European command out of down near Munich, a little bit south of Munich. But what happened in 2010, right before all this stuff happened in Libya, EUCOM split off and they created a new command. There it is, Africa, if you want to look at it right there. There's Kazakhstan right there. But EUCOM split off. This is great. I can use my own graph. EUCOM split off, and AFRICOM was established here. Now, I believe AFRICOM was under the auspices of the FBI in all intents and purposes, and Peter Strzok's folks for Libya and Syria. But the paperwork that we have, the MOS that we have for Buttigieg, is he was at EUCOM. Again, there's some couriers that are in a story later that I got in trouble for, but I still think I'm right, that were in EUCOM, and then they moved to AFRICOM. And this Admiral Stavridis, who runs the bombing campaign in Libya, was EUCOM, then AFRICOM. All the guy who is the CEO of Lockheed now, who was running the air campaign, Bouchard, was EUCOM, then AFRICOM, and then NATO commander. All these guys, you could see that there's almost a beer push here, some, at the top floor of the NATO consultancy in Brussels here, where they're plotting this, right? Didn't that just burn recently, the same day the Kolomoisky thing blew up in Beirut? But it's a small group. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a small group. All you need is a small group of these EUCOM guys to go, hey, before we lose this thing, before it becomes AFRICOM, let's bomb the shit out of Libya and take all the nuclear and sell it to Iran. We'll get it. Then Gaddafi is getting out of nuclear weapons. He's selling it right now. Let's interdict this. Let's put the story out. Let's put Gaddafi on notice. We'll send in the Sapphire boys, the DTRA boys, and we'll move it to some third location. Then we'll sell it to Iran. Okay, and that's what happened. That's going to be the end of the story. But we don't want to jump ahead of the story. Go ahead, Dave. You got?
I was just going to say
that's going to be Buttigieg.
Yeah, and there's also this kind of a loose connection. But Buttigieg also had a career at McKinsey and Company before, and one of his clients was the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, which is also Gretchen Whitmer's background is Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan too. So I don't know if there's a more older link between those two characters going back, but. South Bend, Indiana is just right there on the border of Michigan. It's really a suburb of Grand Rapids where, a lot of this activity, going back with the Amway and, kind of the Eric Prince and those guys, they're all Grand Rapids people. So it's, South Bend's really just right there. It's really a suburb of Grand Rapids.
And how quickly could you get into the MIS department? I'm taking a lozenge here because I've done a lot of shows here. But how quickly you could get in to Chicago to see Rahm Emanuel for your next topple for your Loop Capital. We don't know. Buttigieg kept doing that after he was the mayor of South Bend, but he's never in South Bend.
And wasn't there?
Why is this guy never here? He's never here. He's always either in Chicago or he's flying on some Eclipse plane from Malta, where his brother writes the history of the military order. Not his brother, his cousin. But why are you always writing about topples that the Knights of Malta did? Why are you always writing about biological weapons that the Knights of Malta have used? Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was just going to say that his dad was born and raised in Malta too, so he does have these deep Malta connections. And then
He
also,
seems to always celebrate bioweapons. The siege of Malta and everything.
Yeah,
Hey, we use bioweapons.
yeah, I remember more the TikTok videos he was making when he was running. But there was also what was the story with the there was a hacking situation that I feel like happening at the hospital system in Grand Rapids, and there was that sort of a hour time change, which between Chicago and
Boy, you're good.
and Michigan. I feel like there was some.
Krylova and Bogacheva.
Yeah, I always have to get those girls back in.
Krylova and Bogacheva. Dave has nailed it again. The time zone change. If you look at the hacks of the God damn, you're good. The DNC hacks occur, and there's a time change between the hacking. The only way you could affect that time change, they actually got to the new city to do the next hack before the hour change. So it has to be someplace that you can get to in less than an hour. You can get from, and the Trump Tower hack was also from the Betsy DeVos's health company in Grand Rapids, and
I can't remember the name.
Spectrum Health. Spectrum Health, and that's where Krylova and Bogacheva were. Krylova and Bogacheva could have got the thumb drive in front of the Wrigley Building at the MIS department and got to hide behind the firewall at Spectrum Health in less than an hour. I've done it myself. I actually drove it.
Yeah.
And you can get there in less than an hour. And the timestamps show that they got there in less than an hour. And that's the wonderful thing about metadata, because it has to be someplace in the world where there is a timestamp that actually goes back in time in the log files, which is awesome. That is totally awesome. Thank you for reminding me of that. So, Addy, what do you got to add? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I'm taking my notes. Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education to this day, and Magnitsky Act, Bill Browder, Jack Abramoff, Teneo, Operation Cassandra, and we actually stayed in West Bend,
South Bend.
South Bend. So we were
We didn't see any of Buttigieg's Oconus lures, but it would be a great place to bring people in for scholarships, right? It's another place, and his brother was in that business in South Bend of bringing people in from all over the world for fellowships and so forth. It's a great cover. Were Krylova and Bogacheva brought into South Bend? We don't know the answer.
And I was actually speaking with Dave, I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, and we were just talking about the states of Florida and Ohio and how they have traditionally been these swing states, and why that is. And this is something that I'm discovering too over the past couple of days, how much of a power broking center these states are, like this Detroit area and Michigan and Ohio with Les Wexner and their ties to the mega group out of Columbus. So all of this is really helpful in connecting the dots together, because I've mentioned this as well before too. People tend to think of New York and the West Coast, California, right, as these places of power. Whereas when you look at the geography of the Great Lakes and being, I think it's the second largest freshwater source in the world, strategically, this is going to inevitably mean that this location we're in, these Great Lakes region, the Midwest, is going to be more important as time goes on, especially when you look at the trade routes of the water too. So you have, waterways and airways all coming in and out of the Midwest here, which ties into all of this. And I don't know if Dave wants to comment on Ohio, Florida, and the conversation we had the other night, Dave, just for regards to the swing states and why that is. And we were talking about, was this manufactured, or is this made such that because those two places are the power broking places, they can swap people out as needed, and it looks like just a natural part of the political process when you have people rising and falling.
I want to throw one thing in here there first. You mentioned the mega group.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Bronfman, you mentioned Max Fisher, and you mentioned Les Wexner, and you mentioned all the other mega guys. You're not helping Israel, okay, get a nuclear program if you're sitting in Central Park looking at the schist and the gneiss rock formations and with your little chisel. That ain't going to cut it. You need very expensive or very rare metals like hafnium, beryllium, very exotic alloys. You need tantalum, you need manganese, like Kolomoisky is mining right now in Ghana. magnesium. You need all these exotic metals. They're not in. Go to Central Park, take out a chisel, start chiseling away at those rock formations, and see if you get to anything that you could run a Israel's nuclear power program with. You can't, right? It's the same reason why during the Manhattan Project, when they were having the meeting on Lake what?
Oh, it's Otsego Lake.
Well, how do you spell that?
Otsego. Otsego.
Otsego Lake. When you're having the meeting, first of all, you have it with people who know something about the geography of where the metals are around here, right? You got to your job is to come up with a bomb, right? For Israel, right? So you need people at Los Alamos for the technology. You need people. Well, there it is. Let's go ahead to the you hit Gretzky. You're going to get McSorley. You hit Gretzky. You're going to get McSorley. Here's Podesta's enrichment plant, right? In New Mexico, right? We even have a neighborhood news hour pointer to Eunice, New Mexico, the National Enrichment Facility. Where did the enrichment facility move from? Remember, if you're trying to sell, enriched uranium to the China nuclear group, you have to either enrich it here at Piketon, Ohio. Again, I'm the only one who ever served time for uranium-1. Right there, or you have to move it to something that you control, like Jeff Epstein's New Mexico, where he's hobnobbing with the governor, flying the governor and the Secretary of Energy, like Bill Richardson around over here. Jeff Epstein's over here, right? So they move it from Piketon, it disappears, and then all of a sudden, Podesta, our fun person that I sued him, and then he immediately shut down his company. After Kim Fritz got served, they immediately shut down Podesta Group in Washington, D.C., right? Why do they move it from here to here? Is it because they want to control the supply? Is it because they want the public, the United States public, to go ahead and pay for all the development of these new cylinders with this new esoteric alloy and then move them to the National Enrichment Facility so that we can do enrichment for our friends rather than your friends? Remember his story here at Jewel Energy. His story is, I came up with an exotic microbial solution that produces energy from sprouts, right? Check into his magical facility, magical energy facility that he had with Jewel, not steps from the National Enrichment Facility here at Eunice. Now, also, if that isn't enough for you, take the father of Melissa Mann, who is the number one expert of where every nuclear power plant is in the United States, where all the nuclear we can't say that it was Antifa that did the hit. We took a photon torpedo. We don't know if it's Antifa. But take a look at who is on the boat. Who's on the boat moving this uranium all around the world, right? For all the people that can move the uranium around the world, it's one boat, one ship, the TLI Aquila. The TLI Aquila. Sounds also like it's moving weapons too, doesn't it? If you don't want people to touch the stuff, right? Out of one port, Imran Awan and Nancy Pelosi's Baltimore. Okay? Just so happens that the father, the daughter of the father who has this enrichment facility in control of all the enrichment resources for the whole supply chain in the United States, just happens to have a daughter here on the bridge of the TLI Aquila with the one guy who owns the one trucking company from Columbus, Ohio, with 5 Farsi speakers that we've counted, that we've confirmed, 5 Farsi speakers, a couple of Russian speakers. Let's see. Okay. Could it be that you're enriching here so that you can complete deals like the Iran nuclear deal, $150 billion, 3 payments, $450 billion? Could it be that the reason why you need 5 Farsi speakers is because you're going to come here to a place that speaks Farsi, right? Why do you need the 5 Farsi speakers if you're not going to the place that Peter Strzok has all of his Bell helicopters, right? Where Peter Strzok went to high school, where his father was active in the overthrow of the Shah. Again, metadata. These are questions that can be asked. Why isn't Steve Bannon talking about these things, right? He's just talking about how Bevan Cooney, and he's showing Hunter with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth with a girl. Is that real journalism, or is that leading you on in the direction that this is child trafficking? I think it is. I think he's leading you on. But let's go back to our panel here. Our panel here has more ideas on the subject. Dave, what do you think?
Well, just going back to what Addy was, asking about, and just thinking about the, Sault Ste. Marie with Peter Strzok's connections there, and sort of why Michigan, Ohio, and Florida are the swing states, and what the linkage is there. Originally there was a road project called the Dixie Highway that went from Sault Ste. Marie all the way down to Miami. It later becomes I-75, and I do think that that's going to tie in with the Teamsters, with Hoffa. It is the main vein of transporting these materials from Michigan and Ohio down to the Florida, via the
trucking.
Trucking. So that
there's a place in Tennessee on the way. Can you see that map that far?
Yeah, I think because I was looking at the old Dixie Highway. I think in 75
well,
now.
It's called Los Alamos, not Los Alamos, but it's called Oak Ridge. Yeah.
Oh,
but
Oak Ridge.
I just wanted to cut to the chase. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so you're saying that basically, if I had people on each end, if I had people controlling the supply of the nuclear material on one end and controlling the export of the material on the other end, that wouldn't it be great to have, if you're going to harness one of the most powerful river valleys in the United States to enrich this, all you need to do is let them go ahead and do that. All we need to do is control the ports where it leaves. Wasn't there a place called Port Canaveral that we talked about that was done with a mysterious Iranian and Iraqi nuclear scientist called the Crescent Group in the Port of Canaveral? Again, we said it was uranium then. We have task force disagreed with me. She said it was bioweapons. She said it was drugs. She said it was weapons. I still say it's uranium. Hey, and I realize this is a lot of information, but you can always do what Addy's doing. Write it down and then do the links later on. Look at Addy. You're going crazy here with these entities and links.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Aaron Adler last night about this. He's like, "Oh man, I gotta get a notebook. So I showed him my notebook. It's not, the neatest per se, but sometimes you just got to get your ideas out because you only have so much RAM in the short term that stores all that, right? So you got to get it down on some sort of, USB drive or external hard drive, and that's what this is, until you can download it to the OS. So, and that takes some time. So, especially with talking to guys like George and Dave, they just are connecting a lot of dots. And where I come at it as a researcher is very much breadth. So I'm kind of like spread out a bit, but I do have my pockets where I'm focused in terms of depth with Epstein and particularly child trafficking in the United States. But that being said, I am trying to connect all of this, whether it's the Bidens and the Coonies, which is relevant right now, Jack Abramoff and the Weiners, Buttigieg, Podestas, all this is linked, and it does take time to make those to spin that web together, right? We're spinning the web here with George, so that's what we're doing, and
with facts,
spinning the web with facts, right? So we get our our web cartridges are made up of facts, and we have to tie them together, right? So no shame. I do write a lot down here, and I look at it later. I use it to prepare for shows. So yeah, writing things down. Never underestimate the power of putting pen to paper, as Aaron and I were talking about last night.
Oh, Aaron, come on in here.
Can I cut in?
Yes,
for 5 minutes.
The great Aaron
Adler. Call
Adler.
this halftime if you guys are ready to keep going, because I am going to have to continue on my Zoom throughout the day here.
The great Aaron.
We're going to bring Dave Underdown. I got a few different variety items. For everyone to take a deep breath. We're about to blow Dave Underdown's mind.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I wonder at what point, I don't want to disparage you, George. At what point do we get to declare the student better than the master?
Dave's getting close. I tell you.
I think Dave's there. I think
it's better as a collaboration.
Not to
when he caught the fly that today with the chopsticks, the Miyagi, I said, "That's it. I'm out. I'm out."
Do I get to be Danny LaRusso?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm gone.
I think the live chat might support that Dave is just like.
Go
ahead.
Let Aaron riff.
I actually have a point that I wanted to make. When we were talking about this the metal scouting and strategic metals. One thing with Michigan that people don't remember is that between 1850 and 1900, Michigan was the number one place in all of North America for iron ore and also for copper ore. We also had, I think, more timber than the next 6 states combined. So when you look at the history of these people that are, interested in these strategic metals, there is a lot of history in Michigan. A lot of the, technology as far as drilling technology, hydraulic pumps to, clear. This is all things that, were part, old history of Michigan. I think most people, don't think of that.
This is the criticism I got. The criticism I got was, Hunter Biden is not Hunter, the big guy. Hunter's not smart enough to put a small modular reactor that they use all over the world for pipelining and fracking. Hunter wouldn't know that a place on the Maumee River, which would give a huge fresh water source, he wouldn't know that you need that. These people are front people. These people are not the scientists. It's the Bevan Coonies. It's the
Devin Archers.
Well, no, not the Devin Archer. He's a bundler, but it's the father guy, the guy who's the national expert on Ralph. It's the Ralph Coonies. It's the Ralph Coonies of the world that are the experts on this stuff. They're the world expert in Australia. He's a world expert in New Zealand. He's the world expert in England. Gee, he's got 3 of the 5 eyes. He's got 3 of the 5 eyes right there.
Dean of Science at University of Auckland, Ralph Cooney.
Yeah, so this guy is okay. We're gonna go to the tiger. No. Go to the tiger thing.
No, this is just for Dave. This is we're gonna take a little break for halftime for you guys. Dave, this is all of the season collection of cards of Tigers.
Now here
from the 80s and 90s. This is a test for Dave. Can we throw Dave the most exciting collection of baseball cards he's seen?
Well, that card right there at my
and get him to study history at the same time.
Well, I remember when Larry Herndon caught the last out and we all ran onto the field in the World Series. So I do remember, those are all great memories for me, seeing the riots in Detroit or whatever.
Let me pull these 2 things together, because we're going to take Dave's suggestion at the two charrettes ago, 2 newsrooms ago, was, hey, let's put all these people on baseball cards. And if you look directly over here, this is what I love about this Swing State studio, is you can walk right across and see the actualization. See the actualization of Dave's cards. There's Peter Struck. There's Sina Bavari, who left the door open at the bioweapons plant in the at Fort Detrick. There's Peter Struck Sr., Catholic Relief Services all over Africa and Iran and other places like Haiti, creating revolutions. Here's Redfield, who stole the patents for Fauci. There's Sina Bavari. So we've used the baseball card concept to make things easy, and we'll probably end up doing a Hunter Biden card. We'll probably end up doing a Devin Biden card, a Devin Archer card. And that just gives me a great idea.
I think we need a whole set of cards ready for stocking stuffers.
Can we get
Christmas,
George?
Yeah,
the George Eurasian Crime Task Unit cards too, and NABU also. Yeah. All the task forces, we need to see them.
We had 50 cards made, and this is only a few of them. We had a Nellie Orr card for the Eurasian Crime Task Force. We had a Bruce Orr card. So we need to probably go back at the cards and release those on the website.
Do you think a Lisa Page or a Melissa Hodgman would be more in the Beckett price guide as far as a valuable card?
I think we already have done those 2 cards. I think we've already done Lisa Page and Melissa Hodgman. Mm-hmm. So this is good.
I didn't mean to so much divert you. I appreciate that.
No, it just reminds us a lot of work that we did that we didn't publish. And Peter Duke has already written the application, and we just need to put the images out there. Mm-hmm. We got waylaid by who. With the taking our CNN, Donnie O'Sullivan. Sorry, I didn't need to say that out loud.
I think Andy McCabe is currently a CNN analyst as well right now.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my goodness.
Anyway, I don't want to get off on that.
So here, I'm going to make my panel comment and then continue on.
Okay, go ahead.
Now we're going to get serious, right? Okay. As we look at the overarching, pantheon of the story and how we dive into it, I think we're getting really close to the target, really close to just where you were at in your 4 years and everything, right? And it's all coming together with Hunter and Devin and Bevan and all the crew, right?
Devin and Bevan. It's like Beavis and Butthead. Devin and Bevan.
Butina and Butarina.
And we all
Butina and Butarina. There's a good card. That's a pair. From now on in our game, if you get Devin and Bevan, that's a pair. If you get Butarina and Butina, that's a pair.
Are we going to put a still?
So time is of the essence.
We throw maybe some C4 in there, because Butarina ran a plastics factory, the C4 factory.
Well, sometimes the gum is harder than plastic, so
for the Sistema, Sistema. Yeah. Okay.
Time is of the essence to
Mafia
save the
crap.
Republic from the dark weapons exfiltrators that have corrupted all of history.
True.
Bam. Good. We could go all the way back to the end of World War II. We've talked about 1945 and those important things. We have the career of Macduff and so much to take in that regard to help us understand the school play that was the Cold War.
Kevin
I
Timmer
don't know
right
that
there.
we've got
So,
time
Kevin Timmer
to do that, right?
Yeah,
We
okay.
got to get these guys and their dark weapons exfiltrating yip yap and do it. Good.
Right.
Your story's all coming together. Okay.
Yep.
So we, I think, need to start at the day that the flag came down on the Soviet Union, right?
We have a guy that was there when that happened.
I mean, just in general, we're going to
Gary
do this.
Winkleman was right there
This is going to be historical
on the
and
Moscow
fun.
River. I've interviewed him. We have the footage.
So I talked to George last night. I mentioned an old video I saw of his when he used to have a channel on this lovely platform that we appreciate so much. And I talked about an old video that he was with Jason, another friend of ours, Jason,
Okay.
at a restaurant with some salt and pepper shakers and jellies and other things. And he gave a great descriptive explanation of megatons to megawatts and the weapons exfiltration and how it all goes and how it all works. But now with the studio, I think we can do that better, right? We can do a 2.0 version. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to ask our audience here to give me a list of the food and grocery store items that they would require George Webb to have. You don't want this?
I think
No.
I would
Just-
go to get like salt packs and ketchup packs. I like that.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, first of all,
Can I
we're
do
gonna
it right
have-
now? Can I do it right now?
We're going to have yellow cake, right?
Hold
I mean,
on.
I'm going to go get a bunch
Oh,
of
look
boxes
at
of
that.
yellow
That's
cake.
shiny, right? That's yellow cake.
You get your Dunkin' Hines.
Hold on, Aaron. That's yellow. That's yellow cake, right? Or imagine that's okay. Imagine that's highly enriched uranium. Is that Thurman Munson? Thurman Munson?
Yeah, here.
Is that Thurman Munson?
Let me
Okay,
give
let's
you
just
a-
say Thurman
here,
Munson.
Here's a
That's
character,
Thurman Munson.
Here's a character you don't know about.
Okay, let's suppose that's a missile. Okay, that Thurman Munson. This card is worth 20,000 missiles. Okay, all right. This card's worth 20,000 missiles, and that is sitting right there. And that's about $1 trillion worth of highly enriched uranium. Okay. All right. Now let me show you how smart Mark Rich is. Okay. You hold that right there. Hi. There you go. Now I'm going to be Mark Rich, and I'm going to take the highly enriched uranium out. Is it devalue the card? I'm going to take the highly enriched uranium out of the missiles like this. Watch. This is how smart Mark Rich was. All right. Here's Mark Rich.
The Tigers had a lot of bad seasons, so by most accounts,
Was
that's the
Munson
word
on the
pack of
Tigers?
Cards, you know,
I'm taking the highly enriched uranium out of the missiles. That's not a hard concept. Remember, the generals that I'm dealing with, that Gary Winkleman was sitting with at the hotel, right, are all going out of work. They're all going to be living on some farm, picking potatoes. Okay. Now you go up to them and you say, hey, you know all that highly enriched uranium that's in the missiles, 20,000 of them, right? I'll sell all these guys. I'll sell all the stuff that's not highly enriched uranium, all these Tigers that really never hit very well for average, but Tony Clark, Juan Gonzalez, Jeff Weaver. I mean, I'll give you all the Scribinis, right? I'll give you all the Scribinis.
Or scrubs.
All I want to keep are the highly enriched cores of these missiles. And I'll have 20,000 of these. And guess what? I'll send all the crap on the boat that I control the only trucking company. I control the only shipping company. Okay. Come this way a little bit. Okay. So you can see the map a little bit better. Okay. And I'll put that on the boat. I'll send that up to NATO up here. I'll send that over to the Port of Baltimore. We'll check all this stuff in, right? The missiles will get there. The shells will get there. We'll have a big celebration. We'll have a big band, everything. I'll just take the highly enriched cores and I'll store it right down here in Ukraine. Okay. Then what I'll do is with all my Ukrainian experts, a little higher. I'm going to take all my, there you go. I'll take all my guys that are in the nuclear business, and you can come down here, and also I'll give you places on the Black Sea, and I'll give you an Oconus lure or two to be your servants down here at your vacation villa. And then we'll take this stack of 20,000. We'll deal it, one of them, to Gaddafi, and we'll sell that for a couple of million. We'll trade it for his oil. There's Gaddafi's. I'll take another couple of million, 100 million, take another series of cores, and get Egypt started on their program. I'll get South Africa started on their program. I'll get Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. How many people were in the Flynn deal with IP3 and ACU? Saudi Arabia got 30 reactors, 4 for UAE, 2 for Bahrain, 2 for Qatar, 40 or so there. I'll do about 50 for Iran, get their program started. Pakistan, yeah, they're going to get some cards here. Oh, don't leave out Pakistan. Get them. Get India. Oh, China. We'll do. China is a big buyer. Got a whole deck for them. Now, the only thing I need to do, I'm going to be doing all this on a encrypted BlackBerry. I could do all this if I'm Jonathan Weiner, right? The only thing I need at the end is a patsy. The only thing I need at the end is a patsy. And this is what Deep BlackBerry is telling me. I'll just give Hunter the phone right at the end. And he'll make some calls and he'll get some money. He'll see some action on this, and we'll blame it all on Hunter Biden. That's what Deep BlackBerry was telling me. We're going to blame it all on Hunter. The same exact way that Domscheit was with Julian Assange over here in Iceland. Where's Iceland? Give me Iceland. Come down for Iceland. Where's Iceland? There it is. You're not even on this map. Where is Iceland? Oh, way up here. Sorry. They're at the Reykjavik airport. What happens? They're going to fly to Norway. Domscheit gives Julian Assange the phone. And now Assange is implicated. Same thing. Just give Patsy the phone at the end of the thing. Oh, we got Aaron here.
Must not like cooking, huh?
No. I just thought, why wait? Why make people wait?
I was thinking for our audience, we'd get them excited for a Friday night prime time. Baking a dark weapons exfiltration cake with George Webb.
All right. Okay.
Or dark weapons exfiltration grocery list.
Okay.
And they can tell us the items in the store that would help convey the metaphoric image to them, so that we can help assist them through the process of learning in a creative way.
I love it. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's it. I got my list. I'm going to get, obviously 5 boxes of yellow cake mix, right?
That's
we're going to have
from Utah. We're going to steal it from all the Western states. We're going to process it through Romney and a guy named Stanley. We're going to process it through one place. We're going to say that came up with all the yellow cake. And in actual fact, we stole it from 12 states. But keep going.
My real vision is to have tables set up North America, South America, Africa, right? Like that. And to have you in the middle with all the ingredients. And then me and Dave and Addy will go around and you'll say, okay, I need to get more yellow cake from Shinkalobwe. And we'll go over to the Africa table and we'll get the yellow cake mix and we'll bring it in. We'll pour it into the baking pan.
If you want to make the cake, why don't you make the missiles, the candles? Because those do really light up a party when you fire those off.
But what's the model that they would just sell the whole franchise? I mean, when you would engage in these deals, would you get the people to run the facilities also? Was that just the whole turnkey operation that they were offering these countries? Yeah,
I mean, Lisa Page and Strzok were bringing people into Ohio State fast. There they are. That's why we put them on the wall, folks. And also Michigan, Krylov and Bogacheva. They were putting them in so fast they could. Student visas is the way to go, right? So yeah. I'm running out of time.
Anyway, I'm going to go read the chat, and if they've got any ideas, I'm going to go buy all that at the grocery store.
Why pretzels?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, pretzels for the rods.
That's got to be. I'm going to get the pretzel rods because you're going to have to put the pretzel rods into.
The reactor.
That's going to.
He wants to build a food reactor. Okay, I got it.
I know it's a little goofy, but the metaphors I think often help in the audience.
Are you going to use it for a submarine, or are you going to do it for more of a trigger reactor?
Well, George is going to be the chef. It's his story. I'm even going to buy a little chef hat, and he'll wear a chef hat.
Where's the little LED light?
We just grab the coffee maker too. Isn't that the metaphor?
We may go buy a Keurig coffee maker.
Where's the little LED light? Because here you go. Here we are at the lovely. People say it's horrible out here at the Neighborhood News Hour. Look at that, beautiful day. Look at
75 degrees out.
75 degrees out. Look at that. Look at those. Beautiful fall colors. You got beautiful fall colors here. Okay.
All right. Well, my comic relief /
hold on.
Programming interlude is gone.
No.
Take your bathroom break and get your water.
No. I'm going to put you to work now.
Good.
Take this. Okay. Now click that see what happens when you click that? It puts out a blinding light that goes through anything. Okay, now turn it off. Okay. I can use that power to do fracking. I heat up a bunch of water. It's a coffee maker. And then like in Toledo or down toward Fostoria, we're not saying it's there, but right. I take the batteries out. I put old batteries in that are down that ran out 5%. If this is $1 trillion worth of highly enriched uranium, I'm not going to down blend it. Mark Rich is not going to down blend that. I'm going to keep it and I'm going to sell these to all the rogue nations. And I'll put the crappy batteries in there and I'll send those on the train or on the one ship that just happens to be controlled by transport logistics.
And if I'm General something or other, Manov in Kazakhstan or whatever in 1989, and I've got 6 batteries, right?
Batteries are the best analogy.
Mark Rich could just say, hey, you got all 6 of these. You keep 3, I'll keep 3. No, that's not how it works.
No, Mark Rich says you're going to be going off to a gulag. We got one. We got one informant already with Browder who's going to finger all you guys for bribery when we gave you the girl. All right. So if you don't want to go to the gulag, tell us where all the rest of the batteries are. That's the end of the story.
They don't split them half.
No.
5 and
Mark
1,
Rich.
maybe?
Mark Rich. No.
Wasn't the model also
Thank you for
like with
demonstrating.
Libya to sell all these military tech, all this nuclear tech, and then just go in and topple them and just take it back for yourself after? I mean,
Number
it seems
one,
like that's kind of
the number one thing Jeff Epstein says is I settle old scores, which means you make one little deviation from the agreement we had. We drop everybody in, we drone you, we use all kinds of esoteric weapons on you, and then we take all your stuff. Look what happened to Libya. And that is the name of the game. This got a little bit wild. It got a little bit crazy.
I'm sorry.
But I think, Addy ads, you've seen it all happen in front of you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the illustrations and metaphors that Aaron used are great. And just anytime you can use, a new analogy, it really helps the learning process. And depending on who it is, everybody takes in information differently, right? Some people like to write, I like to write it down. Some people just like listening to it repeatedly. But, looking at it from different frames of reference, I think really helps to nail it in, especially if you can come up with your own mnemonic for learning. That's actually the best way. You learn it the best when you can come up with your own tips and tricks for learning these types of things or anything really.
Who do you think the big guy is again?
Oh, last night I said Kissinger. Andy told me this morning he thinks it's Joe, or he said he confirmed. I don't know if he said it was confirmed that it was Joe or not, but
You think Trump's going to ask him if it's Joe
tonight?
tonight?
Let's see if the moderator allows Trump to say anything tonight. I don't know if it's going to be another 2-on-1 type of situation. That was thoroughly underwhelming last time. Debates tonight. I don't know what time, but we're going to tune into it for sure.
9. We might do it. I do an 8:00 with McDuff.
Okay.
With Dr. Yamamoto, if that's still on.
Okay. Excellent. So be on the lookout for that on McDuff's channel. Kennedy's Man to Smash the CIA on YouTube. John O'Loughlin. Former JD, right? A former lawyer, Mr.
No, he's an active lawyer.
Okay, yeah, still active, ongoing over there, and I think he's up to 12K now.
Yeah,
He?
yeah, great.
And then of course the brilliant Dr. Yamamoto, whose book I'm currently reading right now. Luckily, Aaron has a copy here at the station, so I didn't have to go buy another one. But regardless, I am going to add it to my library. Dr. Yamamoto. Servitors of Empire. That's another book I'm reading right now, and I just ordered a couple more. So, really building up the media presence here at the Neighborhood News Hour here at Swing State Studios.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I took the baseball card pack or the pack of cards analogy, but it's the simplest thing to understand. You buy the pack for a penny, and you sell each card for millions and millions and millions. To me, that seems like, even if it just seems easy. To me, the card analogy is a great analogy. So
my last comment, thank you, Ospreys. I apologize for my goofiness, but you helped at least some of you validated because I have a bunch of stuff here, George. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I feel like people love the cooking shows. So if your learning style is, by making a recipe, like Neighborhood News Hour, we're open to all learning styles. We just want people to get the story down.
So David, since you're open to all learning styles, turn this way, be open to that. And tell us about the big guy. What do you think? Who do you think the big guy is again?
Gosh, I mean, I haven't, been thinking about the big guy as much. I'm trying to learn these, the Buddarinas and these Cooney Bevan, these characters, because they're completely new to me. So
Wikipedia, they're in the WikiLeaks.
They're in the WikiLeaks. So that was something that I'd read just right before we came on here. So just trying to piece that all together. As far as the big guy,
I didn't know. I didn't mean to jump on Dave's line, but if I didn't know Sistema was the one who did all the deals with Browder and then murdered all the people that 5 years later, after these guys thought they were going to get rich and they gave him a connoisseur for a couple of years to let him see some money, then I wouldn't have jumped on in. But as soon as I saw Sistema, Leschenko, Teschenko, I said, oh my God, they're dealing with the same Moscow Mafia that Browder did.
It's kind of a recurring theme in the story. Anytime a new character is introduced, it seems there's always a much deeper history, related to the network that you need to kind of uncover and look into. So, it doesn't surprise me that, Budarina and her husband, or deceased husband, were involved in these deals, going back historically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have a lot of folks here. I'll just throw a couple more comments up here. Okay. Marty, thank you very much. It really does help when you join, even if I know $3 a month. Sometimes if you're already sponsoring me on Patreon, it says, oh man, it keeps asking me for money, but it does cost money. If people always looking ways to save, we can always take the show on the road if, we had to save even more money. But we wanted a place where we could bring 10 people to all work on a project like this at the end of the election. Like Aaron says, where it's live or die, we have to do it now or never. And I was paying before for a large beach house. And Aaron was the guy who stepped up and said, I'll underwrite this thing, rent free. And okay, well,
it's actually a Mossad credit card.
It's a Mossad credit card.
Yeah, I secretly have a Mossad. What was it? The Mossad Platinum card?
Black card.
But what I'm saying,
no limits.
But what I'm saying here is that we were taking the newsroom, and we keep looking at ways of doing it cheaper and better. So we're not only in this space, we have a permanent facility where we're not constantly moving things. Mm-hmm. We can put everything up that we've developed over time. We can just walk over to the maps. We can put more maps up. We can do more suggestions. And we can do more call-in shows. I'm sorry.
I don't care. You're the boss.
Well, if somebody wants to call in now, 734-224-7090. Go ahead.
We're trying to do pack in $13 million worth of Google investment into, a shoestring budget, doing it on the cheap, just to show that, the content and, collaborating with everyone and mapping things out, trying different techniques to get this story out, to link it together. That's what we're working on. And, hopefully as we grow, we'll, improve the production quality and, those elements. But, that's what we're going for right now, is the content, trying to get it out to everybody.
Yeah. And so money that I was paying out. Thank you, Kevin Chipper, for coming. There you are, Kevin. There's Kevin. Thanks for becoming a member of the Neighborhood News Hour. Kevin had a lot of great Epstein information. You go back to McDuff. He was researching these people with clearances in our whole supply chain for our defense industries. The DISC, that becomes the backbone of the Perm Index. Tell me that Perm Index and DISC aren't going to run into each other. And McDuff isn't. Put it this way: if McDuff is researching two of the members of the DISC and Perm Index, which is Oswald and Ruby, then how about Clay Shaw, who is also Perm Index at the same location, both in Dallas and in New Orleans? Then how about Guy Bannister? That's two of the four of the trademark. I mean, is that how McDuff did it? Said, well, I'm going to investigate two guys here in the trademark, but I'm not going to investigate the other two guys. This is McDuff we're talking about. McDuff's going to go for all four of those guys. Where's that going to lead back to? It's going to lead back to Columbus, Ohio, and these guys at the DISC trying to get these people into the country. They had the Max Fishers and the Meyer and all the Meyer Lansky. They had these guys by the balls. Mm-hmm. All these ex-Nazis, they knew their whole history. They could put them into from the airplane technology into Wright Pat, into Oak Ridge for the reactors, Los Alamos for the reactors, for the whole nuclear sub program with Rick overseeing it all. They had them by the balls. This is going to be the story of the American history with the paperclip. Paperclip guys didn't have at all free reign. They had people behind them that had them compromised. This is going to be what McDuff figured out. You can read the book. It gets you pretty far with the first 12 chapters. We're coming up with another book that explains more about the McDuff files, but we know McDuff has the 68,000 files. We know that they're all top secret national security. We know that they had put in the act that required national security checks for all the people in the supply chain. We know that. We're given that. We know that up front before we even ask to do one FOIA. So anyway, Dave's the perm index expert. I'm just
thinking about the perm index up in Montreal with the Bronfmans and Louis Bloomfield,
the
running
weapons.
the perm index.
Yeah, beautiful. And then the great Addy Ads. Remember to check him out on Brand New too. I got to always come back and say Addy Ads.
And Bronfmans, they actually just got sentenced. A few of those people in the Rainier Nexium sex cult case. Just linking it to current times. But yes, Brand New tube. George and I are going to be live streaming again tomorrow around 1:00 Eastern time. And we forgot to do it today, but we'll do it tomorrow. We're going to do a quick, just pop in on our channels and let people know that we're over there on the brand.
Oh, by the way, we're talking royalty here. You're rhodium. You're rhodium on rhodium is the rarefied metals, the top stars. You're rhodium on Brand New Tube, right?
Yeah. They call it a Rhodium channel, where it's basically exclusive, dedicated content is what they call it. But they just kind of promote you a little more, and I don't know what the criteria is for becoming a Rhodium member. I didn't.
But you can't.
Aware of it,
you can't live stream unless you're Rhodium, and we were live streaming today.
Oh, right? That's true. There you go. I did mention that. So we do have live streaming capabilities over at BNT. They have limited resources. They're not like YouTube. But even on YouTube, you have to get to 1,000 subscribers before you can live stream, right? Because of that pull on the servers. So very select group we're a part of. Thankfully, to the kind people over at BNT allowing us to live stream. They do have super chats. They do have live chat. And we're going to keep doing that, folks, because we do have a lot of folks over in the UK that pay attention to that website that we want to get to as well as our Americanos as well, and our North American folks.
Okay, a primera vez en español solamente. Perfecto?
Okay,
perfecto. No problema para ti? No problema?
Sí, no problema.
Okay, voy a voy a construir una ¿qué es este? Un episodio
un episodio de nuestro
para nosotros para
nuestro grupo se llama Neighborhood News Hour. Aquí,
en español solamente, right? Sí.
Quizás
para todos los países en Sudamérica, para
y España y
nuestros amigos.
Sí.
Aquí y entonces en todas las partes de Estados Unidos, y hay muchas personas, hay una diáspora. ¿Conoces la palabra diáspora?
Diáspora, yeah.
Okay, excelente.
Significa lo mismo en inglés como español, diáspora. Yeah, it's also an English word for the people that don't know.
Correcto. ¿Qué es el palabra para una palabra ambos en inglés y español? Hay un idioma, ¿correcto? Sí.
Idiomas significa lenguaje. Sí, so idioma is a language. But it's, cognate is what we call
cognate,
it.
cognate. Yeah. Perfecto, okay. Mucho error en mi español, pero yo trato cada día. Cuando yo encuentro una persona que habla español, yo pregunto, ¿puede enseñarme una frase o una palabra nueva, por favor?
Oh, wow.
So cada día yo aprendió español, poco y poco, pero yo aprendió. ¿Correcto?
Very impressive, George. Sí, poco a poco. Una palabra que yo sé que no tan mucha gente saben. cicatriz, scar. That's a unique word, I guess. La cicatriz.
Cicatriz. Ay.
Significa scar. So.
Hay una mi palabra hoy para hoy.
Yeah.
Sí, correcto. Okay, bienvenidos. Bye-bye. Hasta luego.
Hablas muy bien, Maestro Webb.
Okay,
Hablas
okay.
muy bien en español.
Next, another show. Okay. Thank you for all the, Tracy, thanks for becoming a member. We'll bring it all back to you tonight at 8:00 on McDuff. Maybe you'll join me.
Yeah,
Maybe Dave will join me. We'll talk perm index.
I'll be listening in.
Can we talk perm index?
I love talking perm index.
Yeah. Can we talk the disc?
I love it.
There's Kevin Timmer who told us about the disc. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the disc and the perm index and Max Fisher?
Worthington cylinder and all the Buckeye.
Worthington cylinder. Yeah.
As long as it's okay with McDuff, Colonel McDuff over there. Yeah. I'm all with it.
All right.
Yeah, if you'll enlist me, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see us tonight at 8:00 on McDuff. Thank you.